Today's episode, we are going to talk about movies that make you cry. And there's one of two things you need to understand. One, if you have never gotten emotional over a fucking movie, it means one of two things. Either the movie sucked that bad or you have no fucking soul. Let's get into it.
So tonight's special guest is my man Matt from the Salty Nerd Podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Hey, my name is Matthew Kadish. I am the producer of the Salty Nerd Podcast and the owner of Las Vegas Podcaster Studios. Been doing podcasting since 2019 and gotten on YouTube in about 2021. And just been having a great time meeting people like yourselves, making content, building a fan base, and making fun of movies, which is what I'm here to do today, I guess.
Exactly. We've done a little bit of that already. So you mentioned you have a podcast. So what do you guys talk about on your podcast?
Yeah, so basically we're a comedy podcast where we just make fun of movies and TV shows. And it's usually like really bad movies and TV shows or retro movies and TV shows. And we'll just sit there and watch them and just talk about how stupid they are. and we'll usually be drinking while we do it, so it's fun. It's kind of like the people who watch us, they're like, oh, we feel like we're at a bar with friends, like bad mouthing movies and stuff like that,
as it fucking should be.
Yeah, exactly.
We're at the King's Tavern here doing the same shit.
Yeah, you guys got a good setup here.
Yeah, man. Thanks. So that's a very unique niche. Like, what prompted you guys? Like, how did that come about to just shit talk movies in a comedic way?
Well, I'm a filmmaker. I've always been a big movie buff. The host of the show, Alex, when we met him and our other co-host, Matt, basically we would get together at a coffee shop once a week, usually on a Monday, and we just sit there and we shoot the shit and talk about movies we've watched or TV shows we watch or movie news and rumors that we heard or whatever. And Alex had been doing a podcast with a friend of his in Chicago, and like we're in Vegas, so it's like, quite a distance. Right. And his friend was just super unreliable, and Alex was really passionate about it as a hobby. And he was just always complaining about like how, his friend could never find time to like do the podcast. And so me and the other Matt were sitting there and we're like, dude, why don't you just do the podcast with us? Like, we're here every Monday. Like, we could just, instead of being at the coffee shop, we can go and record at your house. He's like, really? You do that? And we're like, yeah. And so like we started going to his house, and he had like, this like fold out table in his living room and like these $30 Amazon microphones and this secondhand audio recorder and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can relate.
Yeah. And so like we just started going to his house once a week, and just like the way that it was just like three friends just kind of like talking about movies and shitting on movies and stuff like that. And then I got my, at the time, girlfriend involved. And they were like, dude, you're going to Yoko us. And I'm like, no, trust me. Like, she's really funny. And so like we brought her into the mix. And so she gives like kind of like the female perspective on stuff. And ever since then, like we just started doing it. And it was just to have fun, have a good time. And then it kind of morphed into something where we're like, maybe we could do this like regularly or professionally or whatever the case. So like we invested in some equipment and got on YouTube and stuff like that. And ever since then, we've just been having a good time. But yeah, it's basically just us shitting on movies for an hour.
Gotcha. And now they have over 16,000 subscribers, so be sure to check them out if you want to see some humor, right. And you might have the same opinions on some of the movies they talk about.
Exactly, dedication.
Yeah.
So that's a from humble beginnings, just like us. You starting in you said you started in the living room, moved up, and now you guys got your own studio.
Yeah, we moved up from Alex's kind of janky setup in his living room, and then I turned my dining room into a home studio during quarantine because we were like, why don't we try to do it professionally? Because like we're all at home, we don't have jobs. So
we're all unemployed now.
Yeah, they were wearing onesies and gloves while they recorded.
So we invested some equipment, and then we used my home studio for like a couple years, and then last year we opened up a professional studio, which you have both been to.
Very
Yeah,
nice as well.
nice.
Yeah, and now we're
Love it.
helping other people kind of like shit on movies via their podcast.
The Midnight Project.
So just so if anybody else wants to, and they're in the Las Vegas Valley or Henderson, want to use your studio, what are your guys' going rates
Yeah,
normally?
so if people want like a regular place to shoot, we give them like a discount. But normally it's like $200 an hour, but that includes an engineer who sits in and does like live camera switching, so it saves you time and money on editing.
Oh,
And we also make sure that the audio is coming in as good as possible. And then once you're done recording, like you don't have to bring anything with you. Like we have our own hard drives and SD cards and stuff. And so like we'll go do color correction and audio mastering, and then we deliver it via email from a downloadable like cloud link. And so basically people can download it at their leisure. And we also offer uploading services. So if people want us to manage their channel for them, we can get it up on Spotify and Apple Podcast and YouTube and all that stuff for them. So like literally like, you know, people don't have to do anything. They just show up and record.
All you got to do is bring your fucking content.
Bring
Do
your
the
content
rest.
and your $200.
Yeah, your content and your wallet.
Yeah.
And they'll do the rest.
That's not a bad.
Take
That's
care
not a
of it.
bad price
It's a good
for
trade-off
that.
for the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Because I know that's one of the struggles that we were talking about that before. One of
Yeah.
the struggles
Hopefully,
we have is
hopefully we can get there.
time.
Hopefully we can get there. Just show up.
Someday.
What's up, Matt? Record. Peace out, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Bye, Matt.
It's just going our way. That's dope, man.
After
But
about 2 hours in traffic. You guys are a little bit of a hike from our studio.
A little bit.
Plus,
still shorter
you
than
have-
all the
You
editing.
have this amazing bar here. Why would you ever want to leave?
This is true.
Yeah.
We love,
This is the.
do love
This is,
hanging out. at
yeah,
home.
it's a nice setup, but a little too much drinking.
Well, we
Nonsense.
do allow drinking in our studio, so
See, check it out. Check it out.
those are some of the best podcasts. When people are
Yeah.
drinking.
Oh man, tell me about it.
You know, you get people a little tipsy. You know what? It's when you get people just the right amount of alcohol, they loosen up just
That's
enough.
not called liquor courage for nothing.
Yeah, you know, they loosen up just enough. They're not just some fucking tightwad that don't
Yeah.
know how to fucking
So
talk.
our recording days every Tuesday, and so we like to say that we're Tuesday holics because like we only really
Yeah.
drink on Tuesdays.
You guys have tacos with that? That would be nice.
Oh, Taco Tuesday.
Taco
with Tuesday holics.
Tuesday.
Holy
we
shit.
used to have a
Concept.
taco place right across the street from us that we would go
Dang.
to, but then they switched over to a Chicago eatery. So they don't have the tacos anymore, but they got like Chicago dogs and like beef steaks, cheesesteaks. stuff
So
like
it's
that.
it's Chirac Tuesday.
Yeah, Chirac Tuesday.
It's
Chirac
either
Day.
if they go to the Chicago place, it's Chirac Tuesday. If they don't, then it's just Booze Day.
Oh Lord.
So tonight's topic, we wanted to get in, since you're such a movie buff, we wanted to get into some movies that are tearjerkers.
Tear jerkers.
Yeah. What is your favorite tearjerker movie?
Oh man, I gotta tell you. So number one tearjerker movie for me is Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. At the end, when Spock and Kirk, Spock's dying.
Right.
He
That
says,
is a
I
tearjerker.
am now and forever shall be your friend. I don't think any man
Yeah.
can watch that moment between like two best friends saying goodbye and not get choked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
'Cause that's a friendship all of us would love to have. And some of us have it. Some people don't. I'm getting teary-eyed right now.
Look straight in my eyes and tell me that, bro. Okay.
I'm getting
God damn it.
teary-eyed right now.
Jesus Christ.
God dang, he just talked about it. I didn't even see it.
I know you say that line, man, and people are just like, no, yes.
Right. My friend. You start calling your best friend, your wife right next to you.
Yeah.
Hey JD, man.
They got that glass between them. And they're doing like the fucking Vulcan sign. You know, like you're just like, oh my god, it's so beautiful.
That shit's gonna start an argument in the car. Really? You called JD? You didn't like, no, you're not my best friend. Stay in your lane. You're the wife.
There's a difference here.
Yes,
Relax.
definitely. What's your second favorite?
So my second favorite, so it's one that hit me when I was in the movie theaters, and it was quite unexpected. And I don't know if it's necessarily like something that's like sad, but it was like the emotion of the nostalgia and the relationships and the music, like it all just combined to just like make me into a blubbering mess. And it was the end of Top Gun Maverick, when
Oh, man.
basically like that old school theme song kicks in, and like
Yep.
Miles Teller and Tom Cruise are sitting there, and like they finally mended their relationship, and it's like, you can fly my wing anytime, like that type of stuff. And like I was just sitting there, and it just like I just started going like it just hit me out of the blue. It was crazy.
And they did a great job with incorporating Val Kilmer, the Iceman, in
Yes.
that fucking movie
Yes,
too.
especially with his
scenes
condition.
that they had with him in there, I was like, fucking right on, man. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And it was one that wasn't fumbled. Like some of these other movies that they're trying to bring back from our childhood and recreate them or do a second part. Some they're dropping the
Forced.
ball on
feel
a few
forced.
of them. And so it's kind of killing it. So that was refreshing to see them come. What was it? 20 years later or something?
Yeah, something like that.
So it was refreshing to see them come 20 years later, make a part 2, and make that shit so great. Like that's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. It's not like Coming to America too. That was kind of
dude, they fucked Coming to America too.
yeah.
all
It was
the way
too.
up.
It was
They-
too forced.
I liked it.
No,
I did.
no,
You did?
no.
I mean, the first Coming to America is a classic.
Yeah,
Listen,
of course.
It's great.
Listen here, bud. The first
Listen
one was
here,
fucking great.
Yeah.
Because it was raunchy, it was hood, it was
Yeah,
fucking
right.
just they didn't worry about like nothing, right? They just threw the jokes out there. It was when Eddie was still at his peak of being funny.
But
The
that was
second one was way too PG.
that
It
was the
just-
beauty in our generation.
I
Like,
know. And then and so like you
we
get
don't have
hyped
that
for the second
anymore.
one because you're hoping for a little nostalgia of that coming
Yeah.
back.
But
It was-
in the second one, how boss was it when James Earl Jones has his funeral and he's still alive, so he can see how people react to his death?
yeah.
I mean,
That's the most boss move I think I've ever
I'm not
seen.
saying there wasn't some gangster shit in it.
Also, Wesley Snipes, dude, he stole that movie.
Yeah, he did good. He did good.
He was the neighboring warlord.
Yeah.
You guys ever see Dolomite?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so Wesley Snipes in Dolomite, holy shit.
Yeah, that was a good ass movie.
Yeah,
it was
dude.
long too, huh?
It was a really good
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
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 So I have a list of tearjerkers.
What's
Some
your
that
list?
are my list.
Let's see if
and
he
then
tops
some that I
Maverick.
actually asked my wife,
He gonna say Shrek,
and she gave me some. So I'll
The
start,
Lion King,
You know what? I'll ease y'all into it. I'll start with my wife's
Lilo and
list.
Stitch.
Okay. First one she threw out there was A Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore.
Okay.
Could be a tearjerker. You fall for a girl, and then all of a sudden that girl's fucking dying of cancer.
Yep.
Yeah, that could fucking hit a man, right?
Especially if she's like the girl, like she's perfect.
Yeah.
She's everything you ever wanted.
And you didn't.
you get
know
one
it at
shot.
First. Like you weren't expecting her to be
Yeah.
like the one you'd fall for.
And you're
all of a
like,
sudden
oh my
you're
god, I
like,
love this girl.
"Damn, this bitch is amazing.
And then the moment you say, "Yeah, I love you," yeah, I'm dying.
Oh,
Like, fuck.
shit.
What do I do?
So, could be a tearjerker. I see that.
Yeah.
This one I didn't really agree with her too much, although there was one scene at the end. But The Notebook.
I was gonna say like the
It's like
Notebook's definitely on
every-
this list.
Yeah, it's like every women. It's funny because even before you got here, he even
Yeah.
gets that. Let me
I
guess.
didn't-
She
The
put The
Notebook.
Notebook on there.
You know,
yes.
the Notebook didn't do it for me. I didn't.
No, like I told you, the only thing that got me was like how they both died at the end together.
Yeah, that was cool, but I,
like that. Yeah, like you
didn't-
could see
I
how
watched
that
the
could.
movie maybe twice because even my kid's mom, she loved it back when we were still together, and I didn't care for it that much.
You know what movie that surprised me, where I did get kind of choked up at the end of it, was the Tim Burton movie Big Fish. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yes,
I haven't seen that.
I've seen
So
that.
it's
I'm gonna
about
write that down.
yeah,
I
it's
need to
about
watch
this
it.
guy whose father's dying,
I got a couple to watch here.
and he has like Alzheimer's or something like that. And basically, like the son is trying to connect with his father before like he passes away, and his father was always known for telling these like super outlandish like stories. And by the end of the movie, the son basically just starts weaving this like large tale that the dad's like finally responding to, and it was just a beautiful moment.
Nice.
I think
That,
for
yeah, that'll
guys,
choke me up, especially if you have a kid, especially a son. That would
I
that'd
think for
get me.
guys like father son stuff is the thing that gets you
Oh,
like
That's
it
your
sneaks
legacy.
up on you.
That's
yeah.
your legacy,
Yeah.
man.
It's either father son stuff or best friend stuff.
Or I mean, not even just father, son, any child. Like your child, because you're so proud of them that sometimes it just overwhelms you.
Or even like it's like, oh, I wish I had a relationship with my dad like that or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had a moment that was like real life. Not to dumb down and make it all sentimental. But it was crazy. Like, me and my grandfather was barely starting to get close. Then he was just, one day I text him. I was still working at the pizza place. I text him one day like, "What's up, G Pops? What are you up to?" Never got a response. And then like maybe a week later, I get a call like, "Yeah, he's in the hospital. It's not looking too good." I'm like, "What?"
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what movie a lot of guys cry at? I didn't, but it was Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah, that's a good
The
one.
end of that
That
one
is a
where,
good
where
one.
they have the final like therapy session,
Yeah.
and Robin Williams helps Matt Damon break through all of his like pent up childhood trauma.
And even the moment when Ben Affleck goes to his place and then realizes he's not there, that he did move, and it was like what he told him earlier in the movie, like, if you get this or this, you better just be fucking gone and just don't even say goodbye, just fucking
Went
go.
after the girl. Yeah.
Yep. And when he finally realized that's what happened, I was like, right on, you
Right.
called it,
Yeah.
bro.
Right
You called
on.
that shit. So yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good movie too. That's an awesome fucking movie.
What else she got on her list?
For Gabby's list,
The shitty one.
she also added Legends of the Fall. Have you guys ever watched that?
Brad Pitt.
Anthony Hopkins, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I don't
Good
see
movie.
It.
It's a good like
Wow, Gabby's coming with some heat.
it's yeah no it was that was a
Okay.
good movie. I like that one. It's a good movie about siblings, like
Yeah.
brothers. Like it's three brothers
About
and
fishing too, right?
I mean
Or
they
is that a river runs through it?
that's a
I'm
river
thinking
runs
about?
through it that
Okay.
you're thinking of, which is another Brad Pitt movie, right?
Yeah.
But Legends of the Fall is like you gotta watch it. It's put on your list. It's brothers. It shows the bond between brothers and a father, no mom. There's a girl involved. That two brothers, or actually all three of them, I think, have something for her. Just one of them never acts on it like Brad Pitt does in the movie. It's a good movie. You should watch that. I don't know about so much of it being a tearjerker. I think
I don't know any dudes who ever cried at that movie.
yeah, like I think the only time that it ever even like kind of struck me a little bit was like my dad a few years back had a stroke, and luckily he like came out of it and he's fine. Like
Thank God.
like, but like Anthony Hopkins in the movie has a stroke and he can't like talk through half of his face, and I was like, damn, that could have been my dad.
That took my granny.
So like that kind of like hit me a little bit after the like years of already have seen that movie, and then you watch it again and you're like, fuck, that really could have been my pops. Like, fuck, I don't want that.
It's also one of Brad Pitt's first movies.
Yeah, it was definitely early in his
Early on, yeah.
The Green Mile.
Ooh, yeah, that's a classic. Rest in peace,
The
man.
irony in that movie where they know they had to kill this person who they knew in their fucking hearts
Yeah.
did not commit this crime. Imagine the fucking internal like fight that they had to go through for that. That would hit any fucking normal heart beating male
Yeah,
ever.
definitely.
Right?
Yeah, because we're such logical creatures that's like going against our own nature. Like, we know it's wrong, but we have to do it.
Well, it's
You
also
know,
about
so-
like how institutions basically like they quash the human aspects of us.
Yeah.
Because basically you had a group of prison guards who were forced to carry out an execution of like an innocent man who was not only innocent, but he was like super special.
Right.
And it's like the perfect kind of metaphor for like how institutions just don't care about human beings, and the human beings who are part of those institutions like that carry this stuff out, like it wears on them.
They fall victim of it because now it's like, okay, I have to do it because it's my job.
But it was also interesting how like they contrasted that with the Sam Rockwell character, who was like a piece of shit murderer, like like molester, rapist, like whatever, and he's the one who actually committed the crime.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like and that's someone who it's like, yeah, he deserved to be executed and stuff like that. So it's not like a black and white type movie.
Right. That's that is a great. Yeah, that's a tearjerker.
It's a parody that really just
That was
tugs
Gabby's
on
list?
that was on Gabby's.
Oh, Gabby, okay.
Yeah,
She surprised me. I thought she was gonna come with
came
like
some heat.
I thought she was gonna come with
Michael
like
Clark
Cinderella.
Duncan too, man. He
Yes.
was a good
All right,
one.
rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, man.
peace.
You know?
Great.
The last movie on her list, I don't know if either one of you would have watched it because it's in Spanish,
Oh.
so you have to read the
La
subtitles
Bamba?
for it. But it's called Instructions Not Included, and I will tell you, at this time, I only had one daughter, And even I was crying like a fucking baby watching this fucking movie. So this is a story of a guy who is basically just a fucking player.
All right.
Fucking bitches all around. And then one day, this woman comes to his door with a 6-month-old baby and says, "This is your daughter. Hold it for a second. Oh, by the way, do you have $10 so I could go pay the taxi?" Gets $10 from this guy. Never fucking returns. Leaves him with a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
And then he has to learn how to become a father.
Yeah, on his own.
And then, and it gets worse. This is why it's called Instructions Not Included, because nothing prepares you for this kind of shit.
No.
It makes me want to cry just even talking about the movie. That's how fucking good this movie was written. Like, they should do an English version, but keep it just as passionate.
We should do it.
No.
That's not us acting, but like,
no, we'd be 3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah, 3 Men and a Baby right here, baby.
I'm not
like,
saying us act the movie, but
so,
like,
stop.
just
I'm gonna slap you.
Stop killing my dreams. He doesn't care about my dreams.
I do. Just not right now. Hold on. Let's do our lists. So
the bromance is dead.
Yeah, we smashed it. He learns how to care for this child, love her, be a father, raise her. And then when she's older, now the mom wants to pop back in the picture and try to take custody. And in the midst of fighting a custody battle with this woman who didn't want the baby at first, then they discover that this child, who's now older, has terminal cancer. Fuck me. Tell me that doesn't make you want to fucking shed a tear right then and there. Holy fuck. They're out at a beach, having a beautiful day at the beach, and the daughter just passes the fuck out. And then when they go and get her looked at, discover she's got terminal cancer.
That's it.
And I had a fucking 1-year-old at the time. I was like,
who was a girl?
Why the fuck would y'all do this?
Gabby, why you put this shit on, Gabby?
I weeped, and I was like, what the? Who fucking thought of this shit? Like, how the hell? Someone had to have gone through this and struggled with life to write this fucking story. It's not something you like hear of every day when it comes to a movie. But again, it's all in Spanish, so you got to read subtitles. Fuck it.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
Y'all watch Shogun on fucking Hulu.
I'm watching it. I'm watching it next week with my 2 kids. I'm gonna
let them cry with
make
you.
them cry.
Watch them fucking cry with you.
And I'm gonna laugh at them.
They're not gonna read the subtitles.
I'm lying. I'm gonna cry. Well, they should. They're freaking half Mexican.
So you never heard of that movie?
No.
Okay. All right. Look. Hey, look.
That's good.
I stumped a movie buff for one movie at least.
We learn something new every day.
So yeah, it's called Instructions Not Included. Beautiful fucking movie. Definitely a tearjerker.
Made me think of Batteries Not Included.
God damn it.
Every toy we had in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, you open your Christmas presents like, yo, I got an RC car.
Have you guys never seen Batteries?
No batteries.
It's about an old folks' home where aliens visit them, like these little like floating alien machines, and they kind of like infect the communal swimming pool with their alienness, and it reinvigorates these older people to start acting younger and having like more vibrant energy and stuff like that. And like the little alien machines look like toys, and that's why it's called Batteries Not Included.
Okay.
Oh,
nice.
I mean, I could get why the title reminded
an
you
early
of that.
Ron Howard movie.
The story itself should not remind you of it though. But I can see the title. Yeah,
the title reminded me.
Hey, tell me you didn't get extra excited too when you were younger and you got a toy and the batteries were included though.
Oh hell yeah!
Holy
you
fuck, I
play
was
with
like,
it right now.
God,
Yeah, but
fuck yeah!
That was
shit.
that was the best part of Christmas. The best part of
You
Christmas
pull
was
the
getting a
tab
toy,
and the batteries are active.
and then you went outside and you stayed outside all day.
You know what? Those batteries that were included weren't quality batteries.
no.
They died real
fuck,
quick.
you got to play that day at least with it.
There were like some
you got
weird.
a day and a half.
There were some weird like white and red with Chinese writing batteries. Like you didn't even know what it said.
You buy a Toys R Us toy that said Toys R Us batteries, and you're like, no wonder.
You got
it died
about
in a
48
day and a
hours out of
half.
that thing, man.
Like,
48 hours, it was done.
all right, so here's 6 movies that I put on here.
Okay.
First one, The Patriot.
That's a good
Being
one.
a father and then watching several sons fucking die like that. Like,
That's
and then to also battle the demons that he had from things that he's done in the past, and now he's got to live with that on top of feeling like he failed his family.
You
with
got to
his
take
kids
me,
dying.
man. You got to take me.
Oh, and then when the little daughter finally like pled with him, saying, "Daddy, don't leave,"
yeah.
when they were on the fucking island. Oh my
Damn, I haven't watched that
was
movie
like,
in a while, man.
shit. I wanted to cry like a little bitch. I'm not gonna fucking lie about
That's
it.
a good one.
Hey, grown men do cry. All right, don't let nobody tell you different.
Well, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Next,
I haven't
You're not
cried
a grown man. Then.
yeah, you're not grown though.
You're still a boy.
I haven't cried in a long time. Something's wrong with me. I haven't cried in a long
Yeah,
time.
you fucking weirdo.
Like even funerals, I'll just like a tear or two a drop.
Let me
and that's
kick
about
you in
it.
the dick hard enough.
No,
You'll
you
fucking
can't do
cry.
that. Why would I want you to do that?
I don't know. Just like to break the levee, motherfucker. Let the shit out. Goddamn.
To break the levee.
Something's got to give.
Why
Goddamn.
does that sound like a? Why does that sound like a movie? To break the levee. Like, yeah, it's about a story of this man who never cried, and so he had his friend kick him in the nuts, and then yeah, he cried.
But then
The
couldn't
end.
stop because he had no nuts and 3 tonsils. All right, next movie, John Q.
Oh, damn, that's good. That's
I don't know
good.
if I'm familiar with that one.
Denzel Washington. Oh, you gotta watch that one. So Denzel Washington had a sick son. He took him to the hospital, and you know how the hospitals is. Sometimes they bullshit you.
He needed
So-
a heart transplant.
Yeah. So, were they trying to give the heart to somebody else?
Yes, and he
So-
took over the heart. He held it hostage.
Yeah. So he pulled out a gun and he held it hostage, and he made them give his son that heart. But
It's deeper than that though.
It
Like
is.
it got to the point where like the movie walks you through the struggles he did to try and raise money. Like he sold fucking everything
yeah,
to try and like make enough money for this heart transplant. And then it got to the point where he was seconds away from blowing his own fucking brains out
yeah,
and saying, "Take my heart and put it in him.
It's
We're
tough.
a match. It's my son.
Yeah,
Fucking take my heart." Like
you know, I tend to
deep.
avoid movies that are like deep. I don't like stuff that's too serious. So like
No.
I'll tend to watch mostly like genre movies.
yeah. His
Like-
levee would break if he.
Yeah,
he's
He was
like-
oh my God, he cried. We hear from him in like 2 weeks.
He
I
cried for
haven't
3
stopped
weeks.
crying. What did you do to me? Fuck you guys.
What'd you put in my Coke Zero?
The other one, Hotel Rwanda
Oh,
That's a
with Don Cheadle.
yeah.
that's a rough one.
That's a rough one. And then like it's hard too, because like for him to have neighbors that were like part of the other tribe and to see them get executed, and he's like, fuck, like they're not gonna touch me, but I feel bad because these were my friends. They were good people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they didn't deserve
That
that.
Schindler's List moment.
Yeah. Which, basically, yeah. Just like Schindler's List. Like, it's fucking sad as fuck.
The Black Schindler's List.
Yeah,
Basically.
right.
Yeah, spot on, actually. Tears of the Sun.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know.
I
If,
miss that, man.
I don't know if that would be
No
like.
homo.
I don't know if that would be a tearjerker for me.
So,
though.
the tearjerker moment for me was when they were trying to escort the people, and then they come across another tribe, and then they see a mom where the baby dies, and the mom had her breast cut off because she
Yeah.
couldn't.
She was, like,
so
walking or
that she
something, right?
couldn't breastfeed her. No, they were raping the mom first, and they cut her breast off so she couldn't breastfeed her child, and so the child ends up dying also, and then they end up having to fucking give the mom enough morphine so she finally dies. Like,
Right.
so there's moments in that movie where you're like, fuck, like how could people be so fucking savage
Yeah.
to one another?
Was that an Antoine Fuqua movie?
It might have been. I
I know-
gotta
I-
gotta
I-
look at it, but
This is the one with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Le-
with
leading
Bruce
the
Willis.
I
mercenaries.
miss that
Yeah.
man, bro. I miss Bruce.
He's still
Yeah.
alive.
He's still alive, but he's not gonna act again.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we'll never
Mhm.
get that last fucking Die
Hope-
Hard
I
movie he
hope
was
he-
working on.
I hope he lives out the
Unfortunately.
rest of his days well, man. He's
I think they're doing this thing called likeness rights, where like actors can like lease out or sell the rights to their likeness, and so there's a good possibility that Bruce Willis could live on as an AI generated actor.
no
Like-
stop
So
it.
what you're telling me is that Paul Walker could come back in
Stop
the
it.
final
If his
Fast and the Furious
if his
movie?
estate sells his likeness
Stop
rights. yeah.
it. No.
All right, so I got
as selfish as that sounds great, but no, I wouldn't want it. Like let it go with them.
you're never gonna get the same authenticity. I
Yeah,
feel
well-
right.
well,
Like
because
there's always
not-
gonna be some certain element
So
missing.
the thing with it would never end.
I mean, Bruce Willis was never like a great actor though, so
No,
it's
but
it's just like it's cool to see him on screen. So it'd be
was he
like-
not a great actor though?
I don't think he was.
Bruh, that scene that scene in Die Hard when he had that sign.
Die Hard 3.
Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a
Shit is
Vengeance.
fu- He said, "You got a death wish," and my boy was old.
And a really bad headache.
But why?
He's like, why you keep calling me Jesus? It's like that's the guy said, hey Zeus. He didn't say hey Zeus. He said, hey Zeus. like the king of the motherfucking mountain, like Olympus, the guy who shove a lightning bolt up your ass, Zeus.
But was Samuel L. Jackson not already like 45 in that movie?
Yeah, they try to. Yeah.
It was
Like,
funny
God
because
dang.
they made that right off the tail end of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson had any scenes in that movie together, but it was like they were both like super big because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope though.
Pulp Fiction was a fucking classic.
That's a movie, man.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
So another tearjerker. I got 2 left on my list.
All right.
This one was more recent. It's the Iron Claw.
Mhm.
You guys watch that one with Zac Efron?
Again,
Oh yeah. I've seen a little
I
bit.
avoid those serious movies.
So
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the wrestler family.
yeah.
Yeah,
And like
it's
for
true
me
story.
personally,
I've heard great things.
True
about
story. It's a great movie.
Awesome. It was an awesome movie. First off, Zach,
I love
don't
that.
stop doing the fucking steroids though, because you could tell he was he was roided the fuck out for this
Really?
movie. Yeah, bro. There's no way that shit was natural.
Come on.
There's
It's
no-
for a movie.
Stop.
It's for a movie.
Stop.
Come on.
Yeah, he was roided the fuck
Come
out.
on.
But like,
you seen
for me
Will Smith,
personally, like
Will
having-
Smith from one movie to the next? One of the movies on my list, but yeah, I'll talk about it later.
You
I'll talk
talking
about it later.
Ali.
No,
When he got fucking big for Ali?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Check a shit. So for me personally, like the Iron Claw kind of hit, and it made me a little watery eyed because like me being a middle child, also I have an older brother, a younger brother, and like I could see aspects of that, like where I have one brother that, you know, he has issues, love him to death, take a fucking bullet for him, but he doesn't make the best decisions. I got an older brother that I got to look out for because, you know, love him to death, but he doesn't make the best decisions. So I like feel like I kind of had to like lead the pack.
Yeah,
a
you
little
were
bit growing
responsible.
up. Like I was responsible for
Yeah,
it.
like
So-
you were the dad who wasn't the dad.
So and then like even the similarities of the fact that like I have a family. Neither one of them had families.
Yeah.
Zac Efron in the movie had families. So
Yeah.
like there was just so many similarities where I was like, damn, this shit like
And the
it's
dad
pretty
was
close,
kind
like,
of a
what the fuck?
butthole, bro.
He was.
Cause that one scene when he called his pops and was like, "Hey, I need you to check on so and so because you know he doesn't seem well." And then later when he offs himself and he goes to the dad and starts flipping out on him, he's like, "Well, you should have been there for him. He called you." I'm like, "But you fucking lived with him. Like you
Right.
guys lived
Y'all were
right
in the
there. Like he
same
lived.
fucking roof.
He had
like,
to fly here to check on him. I'm like such an asshole move. I probably would have beat the shit out of my dad if he said some shit like that to me, bro. Like that's not the time or the place to tell me, oh well, he called you. Like
Yeah.
he just did what he did like 5 seconds ago. No.
So the dad in that movie, you could tell he was somebody all about legacy and name. Like you could tell he didn't care like who did what as long as the name and the legacy was like
What I believe is he was that, but he never became that. So he lived through them, which is why he
Right.
pushed his sons to become the champions, so
Right.
he could live vicariously through them.
Mhm.
But he pushed them too far sometimes.
You guys ever see that movie Warrior with Tom Hardy and
Yeah.
where it's like the
Awesome
two brothers
fucking movie.
like UFC fighters.
That's kind of a tearjerker too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that, and also the wrestler with Marissa
Yep.
Tomei and Mickey Rourke. Yeah, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
That's
Mickey
a
Rourke's
depressing
a-
movie though.
Mickey Rourke surprised me as an actor. He did well. I feel. He
I
hasn't
mean,
been in anything in a while, but he's
I mean,
he's
his
in some
face is
good-
melting, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he just fucked around with the plastic surgery so
No,
much
but,
that he's
but
not
regardless
Mickey
of that,
Rourke
I
anymore.
didn't expect him to just be like, you know how sometimes people transition. For example, John Cena, like in the Marine 2 or 3, whatever, he was kind of like a
21 shots or
whack
whatever.
ass. He was kind of whack. It was just like, oh, you know, he just was a steroid buff guy. But then he went on to do other roles, and it was just like,
Oh, dude,
He's surprising me.
Vacation Buddies is fucking hilarious.
yeah,
yo.
like, oh,
Like,
he's actually he's an actor.
that shit
He's
is
surprised.
funny as fuck if you haven't
So
seen that movie.
yeah.
like once he found his comedy chops, that's where. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
he
shit's
found his
funny.
niche. Like,
Yeah.
you guys ever watched The Peacemaker?
Oh god, I love that season.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They,
It was
they,
like-
they haven't done another one yet though.
Not
They
yet.
said they were going to and they haven't. They
They're
just
going
kind of like.
to.
But
on
that
the
shit was
list.
fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
He was
What else
like the worst fucking hero you could fucking ever
The
imagine.
I'll
worst.
kill as many people for peace as I need to.
Yeah. If that kid wanted to kill somebody, that kid's dead. Like what kind of logic?
But
The-
Superman killed people.
but now that we're talking about superheroes, the last movie on my list was Avengers Endgame.
The finger snapping?
Yeah. Cause
Do you
what
stab?
what better way to like literally they literally found a way to write it so creatively where they bookend an entire fucking saga.
Yeah.
Right? Because how did the series start? With Tony Stark at the beginning saying, I am Iron Man.
Yep.
And then how did it end? With him saying, I am Iron Man and snapping his fingers, and then everything in between, everyone that appeared in all the movies in between,
Boom. Gone.
all there.
I know that a lot of people during Infinity War, like they lost it when Tom Holland's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good, and then
Oh,
he like
yeah.
just like disappears.
And then fades into dust.
Yeah, and so like that was a moment where a lot of people I think cried in the theater. But like when Tony Stark dies, like
Yeah.
and all of his friends and his wife are gathered around him, and
Is it safe to say
And
that
then
he
the
was the
same-
most liked Avenger?
Probably.
You think so?
I mean, well,
Because
the
he
only
was
one
so
they did a
witty.
he was the only one they did a trilogy for
Yeah.
also, right prior to
Well,
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well,
doing his.
he was the second Avenger.
well, I mean,
They came out with
Captain
Hulk
America
first.
got
Yeah, he did get 3 movies.
so you got first Captain America.
Oh yeah, and
Winter
then
Soldier,
Thor.
Civil War.
At the time,
Yeah.
right? That's because they
He was the first.
Well, Civil War was before Endgame and all.
see Civil War. I saw it more as like an Avenger movie also because it had
Yeah,
everybody.
it had
Yeah, but
fucking in
technically
it.
it was Captain America.
I know it was listed as Captain America, but I felt like that was an Avenger movie.
Yeah.
It had everybody.
But that
in
was
it.
like the
Introduced Spider-Man
introduction.
and
That was
Ant-Man
kind of the
into it, like-
introduction of the Avengers, But yeah, I don't know. I think his wits is what made him so likable. Like
well, they
he was kind of funny, clever, smart. He was quick at the mouth, so it was.
It's like if you tried to cast somebody else to play Deadpool. Like they picked
Nah,
the
you can't.
perfect
Yeah.
fucking person
Yeah.
to fit that fucking role.
Shout
Like,
out to
it's
Robert
just-
Downey Jr. for making that comeback too. Like going to rehab and then
Like,
coming back,
also-
landing this role and killing it.
in the very first Iron Man movie, right? Like Iron Man had an arc, right? So like he started off as like this selfish playboy, didn't really care about anything, and then he becomes like
philanthropist.
well, he becomes a true hero in the sense that he's willing to sacrifice everything to save the people he cares about.
Yep.
And like that was like an actual journey.
It was
that
an
character.
epiphany because that's when he realized he actually cared about people. So it was just like, oh shit,
But
like-
they spent that time showing like him connecting with his daughter and
Yep.
like his home life, and so like that makes his sacrifice even more poignant because he knows what he's giving up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like what was that thing they said, like I love
I love you 3,000.
3,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Dope. Now let's switch it over to my list.
He's like, hold on, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Let's switch. Let's
fuck
switch.
that. Fuck that.
Shit.
I don't cry. I just drop a tear or two and I keep it moving. But so to combat the Notebook, a movie that was similar to the Notebook, but that was my favorite, and it was such a tearjerker. The Life of Benjamin Button. That movie was fucking great.
It creeps me out, man.
It's just that movie to me was more weird than.
Nah, I loved it, bro.
tearjerker.
I loved it because those are two people that loved each other, but because of the circumstance, couldn't.
Turns
And then
into
at
a
the
baby and dies.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you
but
wanna-
but it was crazy how like she had his kid, but he knew it was his kid, and he knew that because of his condition he couldn't stay because he didn't want to be a burden, so that's why he left. But she was okay with him. She was okay with accepting that burden, but he was too prideful. He was like, "I'm leaving." Left her and the kid. She gets with someone else. That person raises the kid. He comes back years later and sees the daughter dancing, ballerina, just watches her for a while, and it's like, damn, that's crazy. And then he turns into a fucking kid, and then the girl of his dreams takes care of him. She comes back and takes care of him to the end. That was sad, bro.
that was just straight fucking weird.
No, that was sad.
That was weird, right?
I love that.
It was
I like
very
that better than the
Like
Notebook.
if you want to have a movie with like a weird twist in the plot and people like actually falling for each other a little bit, then you could like turn to a movie like Meet Joe Black,
Yeah.
right?
Meet
So-
Joe Black's a boring movie.
I didn't think it was boring. I mean, it had its
Whack.
moments that were
Katie,
slow,
it's
but,
whack.
but it wasn't a horrible movie.
You
Like,
picked a boring movie. You're whack. Shut the fuck up. So
he
my
just said,
second
"What
movie, which will bring me back full circle to what I was saying earlier, 7 Pounds.
That's a sad.
That's a
movie.
fucking movie.
Yeah, that's a tearjerker.
You seen 7 Pounds?
I haven't even heard of it.
7 Pounds is
What,
with
Will Smith?
it's with Will
Rosario
Smith.
Dawson.
Yeah. So he kind of like sacrifices himself and he saves 7 people, right?
Yeah, that's
So
what
he-
7 pounds. It's
so he
7 organs
donates-
that are a pound each.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
he gets some.
donates his 7 organs to these different people that he have.
Yeah, I remember seeing a
Met.
trailer for this.
Yeah. But if you remember in that movie, he was skinny as fuck.
Mhm.
And he did I believe he did I Am Legend right after that. So
He was skinny in I Am Legend.
was not skinny. in
Yes,
I
he
Am Legend.
was.
No, he
Go look at I Am Legend. He was not.
He was not skinny. Not as skinny as he was. And like, bro, he was like cancer skinny and fucking 7
You know,
pounds.
they're making a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I Am Legend. I'm
Mhm.
scared. I'm scared they're gonna fuck it up.
So you know
They
what?
probably will.
You know what's gonna be
But they're
weird?
gonna have Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan has become a director because he's done the last, I believe the last Creed movie he directed. So, is Will Smith helping him?
Will Smith's in the movie.
Oh, he's still in it. Okay.
So this is what they did, and this is what's gonna throw a lot of people off when they watch it. There was an alternate ending
yes, there was.
to I Am Legend.
Was there 2
where
endings
he
or 3?
lives.
Was there 2 or 3?
I don't know. I just know there's an alternate ending where he lives, and that's what they're gonna base it off. Not what everybody fucking saw.
Like
when
Fast
they
and the
watched
Furious.
The movie, like
Just like Fast and the Furious. They're doing that Fast and the Furious shit. Do you remember? Han died in fucking Tokyo Drift.
and then they
And
then-
like 3 times.
And then
Yeah,
like, and then
they're like, this motherfucker's a cat. He's got 9 lives. We're
and
gonna
then
keep
all of a
bringing him back.
sudden,
He's like Kenny from South Park.
Yeah,
Like he
all
just
of a
dies every
sudden-
episode.
all of a sudden he comes back in like 5, and then they're like, well, movie 5, 6, and 7 happens before Tokyo Drift.
Well,
But then all of a sudden, like in 8, they show you an alternate ending to Tokyo Drift, like where he got out of the car and then the car blew up.
yeah,
Like,
well, they show you in flashbacks. But
Stop
they,
it.
They also brought back Gal Gadot, who
yeah,
supposedly died.
jumped out of the plane, like
It's ironic that the only person who actually died was Paul Walker, and his character's still alive in this.
Still
franchise.
alive.
Yeah, they just don't have him in the movie.
Yeah.
they're like,
He's off somewhere raising a fucking child. He got
Yeah.
away from all y'all bullshit.
you're right.
Fucking dumbass.
I'm like, they almost turned Fast and the Furious into superheroes, bro.
Oh, it's a Marvel franchise now.
Definitely, it's like just a money grab. Come on,
I'm
what did
just glad.
Tyrese say? If you making $1 billion, you gonna keep doing it too. I ain't mad at you, but like, come on, some of this shit is
I'm just glad it's
unrealistic.
nearing its end.
Is it?
It is.
They're gonna do a spinoff. They're gonna bring back Tokyo Drift, and then they're gonna do 19 Tokyo
They already
Drift.
did a spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw.
I wish they would do a part 2 to that though.
That was a good
That
movie.
was funny
That
as
was a
fuck
good
to
movie.
watch them like play off of each other. It
And-
was
and
funny.
Idris
It was
Elba was a
entertaining.
pretty good villain.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: who would you like to see as the next villain? Like if they did do another, because obviously Jason Momoa is the last. He should be the last villain in Fast and Furious. But who would you like to see as the next one if they did another one?
Mel Gibson.
Mel? You want to bring back Melly Mel?
You ever watch Boss Level?
Yeah, that's why I thought about Mel Gibson because like he just played like a perfect fucking bad guy on
That's
Boss
good.
Level.
That's
Like
that's
it was
dope.
fucking. He did a good job in that fucking movie as the
And you
bad
know,
guy.
I will say this about Fast and Furious: they did do a good job with the villains. They picked some pretty good villains.
You know what? You know the only thing that made the last movie palatable was the fact that Jason Momoa was so fucking funny.
You know what? Who
in
know
his
who he
role
reminds
as
me
a
of?
bad guy.
He's a Fast and a Furious version of the Joker.
Yeah.
That's all he is. He's laughing.
Humorous.
Like when he was riding the motorcycle, laughing and shit. I'm like,
He pulls up next to her. He goes,
yeah.
just drives off. I'm like,
I like
what
that.
the
He's
fuck?
Joker,
Just so
dude.
random.
That was dope.
Or
Yeah.
even when even before that, when he's like leaving them, and he's like, "All right, well, I gotta go and do some work. Oh, by the way, don't leave because remember I got your families." And just fucking walks off.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He really made the movie entertaining because he was funny as fuck the entire time.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I've seen all of them.
So do you agree or do you have a different take on that?
I mean, like, I think it was Fast X where they went to space. I feel like the franchise peaked with Fast X, and so like the
They
follow up to
steal a
that.
nuclear sub.
Yeah.
No, that was 9, wasn't it?
Was it Fast 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fast X is the last one with Jason Momoa
Okay.
when they're like in Spain or
And they're
Rome or
doing,
something,
like, 3
and they're
parts
running
to
in.
it or some shit.
They're running into this big old circle bomb that's rolling around. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
so for me, Fast 9 was like the pinnacle of that franchise. I know a lot of people say like 5 or 6, but I'm like, nah, 9, because they went to space.
They went to space.
They went to space.
I don't know. I still think 5. No, which was the Brazilian one? Was that 5 or 6?
It was 5 or 6.
Or 7, one of those.
It was kind of like when they transitioned the franchise to be more.
That
like
was the
about
best
the
one
family.
to me.
I
when
think
they
the
brought
last
family.
one that we had Paul Walker in was like where it should have just fucking ended.
That was the last one.
It was like 5, right? 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
I think that was the last one when they was in Brazil and they robbed the bank,
Yeah.
the drug lord's bank.
Where
and they
it's
were
now
pulling
Jason
the-
Momoa's like all thrown into the fucking mix now
Yeah.
because of that one.
Right. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
exactly
like,
what it was. He was there.
Should have just fucking ended the franchise
You
then.
need
Like,
to get Nicolas Cage to play the bad guy.
Oh, that Nicolas Cage.
Especially like if he reprises his role from Gone in 60 Seconds, but as a bad guy.
So he's a car guy. They're car guys. Hey, I love it.
Nicolas
Gone in
Cage
60.
Can do anything.
Call it Fast 60.
They're all like scooters.
Right.
What do they call them? Rascals? The thing that old people are on.
So my other movie is The Bridge of Spies.
Oh, Steven Spielberg. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
What did it turn off? It got hot.
keep going. We got this one going.
Got you. So The Bridge of Spies. So I go to the Crossing Church, and so during the summer they do this thing called a night at the movies, where they'll play a movie. So the first week, which was a couple of weeks ago, they played Creed, the first one, and they incorporate some of like God's messages and stuff from the Bible into the movies. And then last week they did Bridge of Spies, and it seemed so interesting. That's with Tom Hanks. And I never seen the movie. I never even heard of it. So me and the kids, we went home and we watched it, and that was a good movie. It was not necessarily a tearjerker, but it made me just feel like he was such a great man to stand for another man, even though the predicament, because this guy obviously was a spy from, what was it, Russia, and all this crap, but he still fought for him regardless of what that was. And they actually kind of built a connection. They never did really become friends, but just through their small interactions and him representing him, they had a connection and an understanding of each other. And at the end, when he walks across the bridge to go with the Russians, like how Tom Hanks is just like standing there, and before he gets in the car, he looks at him and gives him that last stare, like, I was like, oh shit, that's
Just like Man on Fire when they trade the
yes,
Dakota Fanning
it's
for
like, oh
Denzel.
damn,
That was a good movie too.
that macho shit.
That's a great movie.
Mhm.
You know what movies always never fail to get me to tear up are movies about dogs where the dog dies at the end. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but it's like, movies with dogs, it's like whatever.
It's
So I Am
probably
Legend.
that blind loyalty because you can't actually communicate with
So
them.
I
For
Am
some
Legend.
reason, you can communicate with your dogs.
Well,
like
I Am Legend isn't about the dogs.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I'm
it has
talking,
to be about the dog.
yeah, I'm talking about
Okay.
some
He's
like
talking
old
about, like-
old Yeller,
like,
or
or-
Benji, or like
what
basically
was the
something
one,
where
Dear
like
John?
the dog's the main character, and so
Right.
like you just get attached to that little sucker.
Homeward
And,
Bound.
Yeah.
and like there was this one movie I forget. It was like at the end where like it was all about this dog and the boy, and at the very end like the dog is so old he can't like jump onto the bed, and so like he just kind of got up on his hind legs and went up there, and the boy was doing a voiceover about like how like the dog passed away, and I just started
Yeah,
I
got
just
you.
started bawling.
Got you.
Terrible.
Another movie is Interstellar.
Yeah, I can see that.
A little highbrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like his connection with his daughter was it was pretty dope. I love that. And as a man having kids and I have a daughter, I'm sure you can relate. I loved it. It was just really well. I loved it.
You know what I love?
What's up?
Solid goodbye. And that's what we got to do with this episode. Love y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. And as always, subscribe, share, and show that you care, motherfuckers.
Yeah.